Need some help finding some edge in the prop market? Check out the PropsAI tool on the LineStar app, your one-stop shop for all the information you need to place smarter bets. Gain insights into player history, projections, and trends, along with sportsbook odds. You can even compare the lines across multiple sportsbooks using our prop finder. Get the edge with PropsAI today at LineStarApp.com and take your prop betting game to the next level. Good luck, and as always, bet responsibly. Welcome to the Pre-Snap Podcast presented by LineStar, your top 5 NFL player picks on Underdog Fantasy for Week 15 in the NFL. Alongside my co-host Tyler Wiemann, I am Shannon Sommerville, and it is a very special day here on the show because last week, 5-0, baby. We were perfect, which means today is a victory show. Money shades on. We are locked and loaded with the money gun. Let's set them off. There we go. 5-0 for last week. Crushing it. Congrats to all who tailed us on Underdog Fantasy. By the way, if you haven't downloaded Underdog Fantasy, you can go ahead and do so and use the promo code LineStar for up to $100 of your deposit match. In addition to a money gun celebration, because we were 5 for 5 on our picks last week. One randomly selected commenter gets $200, and so I have it all set up.
Great
the randomized
cash,
wheel.
homie.
It's all fair. Everybody who commented last week gets included in this. So the wheel is spinning. The wheel is spinning. The winner is Tiago Palin, 82-12. Congratulations. You just won $200. Thank you so much for commenting. If you'd like to be a winner just like Tiago, all you got to do is make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below. Hopefully you'll win some money in our contest and by tailing our picks as well. So let's keep the momentum going here in Week 15. Kind of a weird week because we got games on Saturdays now. What is going on? And actually, Tyler, I don't know if you knew this, but this is just a sign of things to come for us here on the show because it is National Underdog Day on December 16th tomorrow. So for all you guys that are betting out there, I mean, that's something to consider. And for Underdog Fantasy purposes too. I think it just is like a good omen for us. What do you think?
I agree.
So let's keep it rolling. Also, the tool that we're using that we've had so much success, we went 5-0. We're using the PropsAI tool, and you can find that at the LineStar app, LineStarApp.com. It compares what's out there to LineStar's projection. It's like a one-stop shop for all of your research needs. Super helpful. You can check it out. Take it for a free test spin, a free trial, LineStarApp.com. All right, so we got some interesting games this week, especially on National Underdog Day. And let's start things off. The Detroit Lions are not underdogs, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of our first picks here on the show, higher than 71.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projecting him for over 80, in fact, and he's averaging 88.6 receiving yards per game. He's gone over 9 of 12 games. Now he's going up against a Denver Broncos team that ranks 22nd in pass defense DVOA versus opposing team's wide receiver 1. After what was probably his quietest performance in terms of fantasy football last week, I'm expecting a huge breakout from Amon-Ra St. Brown, but more importantly, clearing this over on receiving yards. Tyler, what do you make of that line?
Yeah, I agree. I think the line's a little bit low here. Amon-Ra is a guy that's going to be targeted a ton. And the other thing is that Jared Goff is just a way better quarterback at home in the Dome. And this game is at home in the Dome, high 48-point total. And in games where that total gets up, Amon-Ra usually comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been one of the most consistent performers, especially for fantasy football this season. I expect him to continue that trend here and go over that receiving yards mark. Like you mentioned, Jared Goff he's a different quarterback when he's at home in the friendly confines of that dome and no weather conditions to worry about whatsoever. All right, next up, Higgins over 39.5 receiving yards, minus 116 in your sports books. Now, Higgins is averaging 48 receiving yards per game. Last week, he put up 72 against the Indianapolis Colts, and this week he's going up against a Minnesota Vikings defense that ranks 24th in pass defense DVOA versus wide receiver 2s. And hey, we all know that T. Higgins is not your average wide receiver 2. He's got some wide receiver 1 ability for sure, right, Tyler?
Yeah, he absolutely does. And he's in a decent spot here. This Minnesota defense has been very solid, but I think they're really going to key in on Jamar Chase and try and stop Mixon. And Higgins just is going to have to beat some coverage, and he can absolutely do that.
All All right, we're going to take it back to that Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions game and go to the other side. We took somebody from the Lions, Amon-Ra. Now let's go to Courtland Sutton. He's been also pretty reliable for fantasy purposes as well, and we like the over on his receiving yards at 53.5. He's averaging just under 54 receiving yards per game, and he's gone over that mark for the last 5 games. And going up against a Detroit Lions defense, Tyler, they ranked 28th in pass defense DVOA versus wide receiver 2, which was something that when I looked it up was a bit surprising to me. But this Denver Lions defense has let some big plays, has allowed a lot of big plays over the past couple games. And I think the Denver Broncos could see some from Courtland Sutton. What do you think?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions have definitely let some big plays. Their weakness is absolutely the secondary. They have been bad versus the wide receiver 1 and the wide receiver 2. And Sutton has been Russell Wilson's go-to player or wide receiver the entire year. And I don't think that's going to change today, especially because he's also their big play threat. Wilson has a good deep ball. Sutton can get deep. He can catch some tough passes, and I think that Wilson's going to be looking at him a lot, especially in a game that Denver could actually be pushed offensively, something that hasn't really happened that much. Now that they're going into Detroit, I think that's a real possibility, and 53.5 in that scenario is just way too low.
Yeah, I mean, wide receiver 2, he's kind of wide receiver 1 at this point for the Denver Broncos. Yeah. We had him in our system as wide receiver 2, but he's basically a top target for Russell Wilson there, and in a great spot this week going up against a Detroit Lions defense. As you mentioned, Tyler, they've struggled in the secondary, and in fact, I found this stat. The Lions have allowed explosive plays at an above average rate while in man coverage, and then they're allowing explosive plays at the fourth highest rate while in zone. Look out for Courtland Sutton in this one to make some big plays. All right, so those are our 3 plays from LineStars. Those are LineStars projections there. Now it is time for Tyler and I to give our best picks for Underdog Fantasy Pick'em Week 15. Tyler, where are you headed?
I am going to Puka Nacua, higher than 66.5 receiving yards. It's minus 115 in sport books. Look, LineStar projection is 64, so slightly to the under here, but I'm not too scared. Our consensus is almost 78. He's been averaging 85 per game throughout the season. Washington is allowing 198.5 receiving yards to the wide receiver, and the Rams have a very small wide receiver target share, and so Nacua, Cup, they're both going to get a lot of work, and I just like Nakua's line a little bit better than Cup. I think they both have similar upside, but Nacua has just been better recently, and his line is actually lower than Cup, so let's go Puka over 66.5.
Just a juicy lineup for those Rams wide receivers. It's also a juicy matchup for Matthew Stafford. And so, Tyler, I'm going to go with a little correlation here with our picks, and I'm going Matt Stafford over 265.5 passing yards. While he's only averaging 255 per game, he has gone over in half of games, including last week. He put up 294 passing yards against a Baltimore Ravens defense that ranks 2nd in pass defense DVOA. And this week, guess who he's facing? The Washington Commanders, who rank dead last in pass defense DVOA. Man, quarterbacks are putting up their best performances of the season week in and week out against this poor Washington Commanders defense that's just like a shell of itself. They shipped off a lot of their talented defenders, and now they just are struggling to contain opposing passers. And Matthew Stafford is a prolific quarterback, especially with those weapons that you talked about, Tyler. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, who had one of his better games last week. I expect him to be looking for those targets early and often in this one. So I'm rolling with Matthew Stafford to clear that over on passing yards at 265.5 on Underdog Fantasy. So you can lock those in. Again, Underdog Fantasy, if you don't have that app, download it. Use the promo code LineStar for up to $100 of your first deposit matched. And check out that PropsAI tool. You can find all the Underdog Pick'em picks and what LineStar says, whether you should go higher or lower with those picks. You can check that out, LineStarApp.com. And get those ticket in. And remember to enter into our prop bets contest. Let's pick out another $200 winner. Let's go 5 for 5 in our picks. All you have to do, again, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below when you're in it to win it. National Underdog Day is ours. Let's go get it. Good luck out there, guys. We'll see you next week.
Let's go. Good luck.